Ever wonder what it takes to shoot multiple commercials in one day? In today's video, I'm going to take you on set for a series of content pieces that we did for a fashion brand. And if you're looking to see how we stay organized in terms of shooting 2 commercials over the period of one day, stick around to the end of the video. We are right now setting up for the wide. Whenever we shoot any production, we like to set up for the wide first because this is the most difficult shot to pull off because just there's a lot going on in the scene. So I have my gaffer right now setting up 6 Titan tubes and they're going over these bags. And what we want to do is have like a lighting play in terms of like the lights giving us this really moody look in the space. We want to play up on the boxing aspect of this and we're doing a lot of interesting setups. So we are shooting on the Sony Venice today and we're using my personal Nikon set. So we're gonna get this shot going and see how it is. Justin and Jason are talking to our main talent right now and it's gonna go well. The problem with easy rigs is like a lot of people think like once you get an easy rig, it only comes out to here. And it's mainly for shoulder operating. If you want to do more handheld work and stuff like that, where it's like you're trying to flow with the camera, a stable arm is the way to go. And just ask rental houses if they have the units specifically. We learned the hard way a bunch of times using different easy rigs and everything like that. But yeah, best option is a stable arm. So I have my grip and then my swing setting up just a key light right now. We might have to cut some of these Titans just in terms of there's a lot of bounce and stuff coming back. So we're gonna do the shot consistent across the 4 spaces that we're shooting in over these 2 days. We wanna keep it consistent for each of the spaces, so I'm gonna measure it and I'm gonna shoot on the same focal length so we can cut to them if we need to. 22.5 inches, okay? Write that down. Precision. So we prioritize in terms of getting all the Venice stuff in terms of like our nicer looking camera. We did a lot of statics, a lot of pacing, a lot of things in the edit that we can use to break it up, but now we need to switch it up. We need to get some energy in terms of what she's doing because that's what you have to ask yourself in terms of camera movements and everything like that. So now we're gonna be on a gimbal and then I'm gonna be moving around her in terms of like flowing with her as well as giving more energy to the piece and then also slowing it down with movement with slow-mo and just floating around with the gimbal too. You get a lot of good moments when you're floating around somebody with a gimbal, so we're gonna try it out. We still have to do a lot of movement stuff, right?
Yeah. Let's just start at 35 so then we can do all that.
Yeah.
Switch lenses.
35 gimbal, please. We're trying to achieve a silhouette effect here, and then before we had the tubes in a row and they were spilling too much towards the camera. So now we have to direct the light back to the wall, so it paints the wall, and then has not necessarily bouncing the light, but we don't get any spill of the light. Roll camera. Camera's rolling. So right now we've been dealing with a location that has big windows, which always plays well because we can basically set up our scene and set up all the shots when we did the scout and previs shooting into this area. This already has a natural gradient from the natural light, big diffuse sources. Luckily it's a sunny day, so we're playing with nice shadows, and then we played up with the space in terms of utilizing that. We planned for overcast, dependable on weather, but yeah, we planned to have light in the back. Didn't matter if it was a cloudy day, didn't matter if anything was like that, because we have a camera that has a dual base ISO, so I could just bump my ISO up with the available light coming through the windows. So basically we're setting up all our shots and utilizing this whole corner to do that. So right now I have the guys setting up that shot that we did earlier this morning in terms of having it top lit and then playing up on the ambience that's in the background. So hopefully it matches pretty well, but we're gonna use the same lens, same camera position, hopefully same height and everything like that. Yeah, it should be good. What sells this effect even more, it's like a time lapse, but like your motion is blurred. So if you're like moving like this, like we can't see what you're doing physically, but like your frames are blending together. Max out the camera to the back so we get more depth and separation from the wall. Is that cool? Yeah. So I like to use the easy rig when I'm with the gimbal, when I'm doing like parallax moments, like floating and feeling that. And when I'm doing like a big walking movements and everything like that. But if I'm looking to flow and be more freeing, I like to just not use the easy rig. Obviously this is a very light setup with FX3 and just a normal like SLR lens. But like if I had like a bigger, something like a Ronin 2 or anything, I would always use an easy rig this is just easy for us. And then also you can fit a red on here, and I like to do the same thing. So on the back of our transmitter, we have this handy thing from Wooden Camera. It's a V-lock plate. And then also I have this thing from Possum Solutions that allows me to put this in a 15mm rod. So we have like 5 of these mounts for almost all our cameras. If I was on this side, I could just simply click it on, but it's in the way of the screens. So I actually have this little thing up here that just, you slide it in and it's good to go. And then I have my D-tap cables already just hanging here. So I plug that in, and then I plug my SDI in, and then that's it. So yeah, we've kind of mastered that in terms of working with multiple cameras of swapping transmitters. It'd be great to have a transmitter on each camera, but it's just unrealistic to own 2 transmitters like that.
Ain't nobody got money for that.
Right, so you know, it takes another like 30 seconds, but it's totally worth it. So day 1 of this project went really well in terms of the shots that we got. We played a lot with shooting 2 spaces consistently in terms of making all these pieces feel the same but different. We wanted to have at least one shot that was consistent for all the pieces. And it was like showing off the space in a wide aspect, so shooting on a wide lens, we shot on 24, and then also showing off the person in that space as well. So it was having one at least consistent shot that we could cut to throughout. Even though these pieces are supposed to be intended, be separate, we wanted them to be cohesive. That's the challenge of this when you're doing this content kind of commercial stuff, is to make everything feel different but the same in terms of what this brand is about and how we're supposed to shoot it. In terms of lighting and using the spaces, of course, that's what you have to look at, because in the first space it was super moody, playing on lights and heavy lighting setup, while this one was very airy and natural, right? So it's playing up against what each location has in terms of its strengths, and you'll see with the locations tomorrow, it's the same situation of making it feel warm and cozy and inviting. Just the first day went really well. Crew held it together. Diego's my man over there, killing it. And yeah, we feel really good. We got all the shots that we wanted. There's a few, obviously, that we were pretty ambitious about in getting things, but it's always working with people's schedule. Like, this is an active yoga studio. The other place was an active boxing gym. So it was like we had 4 hours in each location and utilizing it to the max. So overall, day 1 went really well.